Okay, you see my title. If you had managed to watch Sacrifice, not much is needed to be said. Now, for those who have not watched it, or those who just don't want to accept what I say, look what's in my face right now. Loss of signal. Now, I'm sure people are going to say, well, that's not their fault. It's not the point. The point here is this, and I want to make this very clear. You cannot blame the wrestlers for anything that has happened. No matter if you like them as characters or not. You don't like them as actual wrestlers. It don't make no difference. This is not the wrestlers' fault. This is not the commentators' fault. This is not the fans at the arena at Windsor, Ontario, Canada. No one's fault but one group, and that is production. Production is the key of this. Production has always been the center of the problems with this company in the last 8 years. No matter who is running it, their production sucked. And again, production sucks. Look, we're going straight into the kickoff show, which I did see. Which was, I want to repeat this again. The wrestlers are not at fault here. The fans are not at fault. Or the commentary team. It's the ones who run production. Because if you watched what happened on YouTube, the stuff that happened on the main card happened there too. Where literally we were getting drops constantly. We got our first match. Steve versus Joe Henley. Now, it was Dorado Kid who was supposed to do the match, but he couldn't make it. He just couldn't make it. It wasn't that he was sick. His travel arrangements were messed up. He could not arrive. So they have Joe Henley. And guess what? For the majority of the match, you couldn't watch it. Most of the match kept dropping. I didn't just watch on an app. I also checked the alternative. And even it was dropping. Drops. And understand, that's all from YouTube. If you can't get YouTube in your country, people will go to the alternatives. And the alternative got the feed from YouTube, which, guess what, was dropping. We know that Steve won. And clearly it was AJF that caused that mess because he was on commentary. And afterward, he said clearly, this is going to be one thing that is my focus, not making you pretty much miserable. Now they're going to have a match next week because that's not been set up, but let's move on. Next match, which was unwatchable. Literally, majority of it was either unwatchable because of the signal on YouTube or the bad camera work. Understand, it was either one or two. Either it was production where they're trying to send the feed away, which is not good. Because understand, the feed, I know people would say that's not their fault. Listen to what I'm saying. When you look on YouTube and you see the timer's coming from them. The feed is coming from them. But, and this is the kicker, production mixes the two. If you do not understand when it comes to TV production, you got your actual live feed of whatever is being produced, like on a live stream. Then you put your graphic on top of it. Under normal circumstances, the graphic doesn't malfunction, the feed does. Unless there's something severely catastrophically wrong with your computer that can't stick them both together and you see them both fade, you know it's production. Because they superimposed it on top of their feed. That was coming from them. It makes no difference. Now, was the match bad? No. Did they have Macklin by their side? No. Macklin told them, no, you don't need me there. They got a little bit of an attitude because they got worried, but they did. Let's make it very clear. Do I believe it was right for Wentz to job? No. Do I believe it would have been better if Wentz and why didn't we have any wins for Trent Seven on the regular TV? We weren't given it. So you're giving him a win here in a tag match instead of letting him have a win as a singles competitor. which wouldn't hurt Speedball Mike Bailey to lose here. He's won a lot. He's lost a lot. He's fine. Trent could have won something when he was last on Impact. But here's the only way he's going to get a win, and he wasn't even involved in the win. I'm just... It doesn't make any sense for me personally. He should have won his match. Let's move on. Main card, which was almost unwatchable. And actually, it was generally watchable when you see it from when the signal wasn't phasing. I believe I got a shot of it into my face. How bad the quality of the video was. Being fed from TNA. Being fed from them. But the key here is this. When you could watch it, it wasn't bad. Were the camera angles good? No. No, but they were good enough just in this particular match, just barely good enough that you could see what's going on in the ring. So I will give it that when you could watch it. In the end, Nick won, but now what does this really mean? We did not see Nick Nemeth coming out with the Global Championship for New Japan Pro Wrestling. It seems that TNA either is not allowed to do that or they don't want to do that. I don't know which one it is. I don't know if New Japan Pro Wrestling gives them permission to show their title on their TV, or TNA with their new management will not show it either. Don't know. But he didn't show it, so we don't see it. Next. The next match, which had some drop quality on it. Not much, very little. This is around the time when it began to slow down and almost stop. And this was a tag match between ABC and let me give it to like this. Did I expect ABC to win here? Yeah. I didn't think that system would win it here. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought ABC was going to win it here. I thought ABC was going to be the one who's going to win it here. Now, what you could see from the match, because mostly you couldn't see a lot there due to the fact of how bad the camera work was being done. Guys, if you still don't understand what camera work is like that's bad, take a guess from that. You should be able to see what's going on in the ring or outside the ring. If you can't even look at the person when they want to do their pose. One of the things that Randy Orton is known for is his pose. They know in production, the cameramen, to zoom back to allow them, the people at home who are watching like me, like you, like everybody, to see that pose, even if he's on top of the ring rope. It seems that Impact Wrestling and then TNA has not learned the lesson that when you got people who want to pose and show that they're here, that they're special, or they're dominant or badasses, they don't understand that they need to zoom back. This is very easy. It's not $50,000 to $100,000 camera with a mic that's crappy. And understand, audio in the arena was crap. It was tinny. Tinny. Even in the very beginnings on the kickoff show, the audio was low until someone realized, oh shit, the audio is low. We got to raise it up. That took at least a minute. Nearly a minute before they finally got that settled. That's crap. But it doesn't take a $100,000 camera for a person who's running production, not just a cameraman, unless they've been told do whatever the fuck you want, to understand when someone is going to pose. Zoom the fuck back. It is disgustingly insulting to the wrestlers who literally go into the hard cam, the camera that's in front that sees the entire ring and most of the arena, and they're like this about to show themselves, and they zoom in. What a waste. In the end, the system won. I was surprised. I didn't expect them to win. This is just a TNA Plus show. I didn't expect them to drop it, but they did. And then the next match, which actually you could see, I want to say this clearly, as out of the 9 matches we got here that counts the kickoff, we could see PCO versus Khan. Now, I don't agree with the ending of the match where PCO won. It was a good match. It was a violent match. I kind of wish that it was it was a no DQ match. I kind of wish that both of them were laid out and could no longer continue. They both laid each other out. The match was just called because neither one of them could continue. And that would have kept this at an even playing field where I think it should have been. Look, I still believe Khan and PCO should team up to become the most dominant team that the show has ever known in quite a long time. They take out the system, they take out ABC, they take out the helping hands, they take on the grizzled young veterans. They should be the more dangerous group that's just two monsters that want to destroy everyone, either outside the ring or in the ring. Something to bring a little variety to TNA. But they chose not to. They let PCO win this match. Now, I don't believe the story's over because I'm sure they're going to keep fighting for quite a long time. But I do believe it would have been better if there was at least one match eventually where both of them just cannot continue. Neither one. A last man standing match where both of them are down for the count and cannot get up. I think that would be good for them. Next. Another match that I'm scratching my head. And I'm going, and I'm going to do this now. Because I don't need to do it later. I'm going to do it right now. MK Ultra versus Danny Luna and Jody Threat. Now, I understood both Jody and Danny won. Supposedly, I think they both won. They had not been doing well. They had one win on Explosion. That was Jody Threat. And then, I believe Danny also won. Didn't Danny win? I can't remember. No. I can't remember. I think Danny won. I'm kind of blanking right now. I don't know why I'm forgetting from last night. Well, as you guys know, it's hard to keep up with all the stuff I'm doing. But I'm like, if we're going to do this, why not just do it on a regular Impact show? That's where I'm going like, really? This wasn't about if the camera work was good or not. It was not very long. It wasn't that long. Maybe about 5 or 7 minutes. And it was over. Maybe due to the fact they needed to keep it moving. Because they knew there was more going on. But I would have thought MK Ultra would win. But now they both lost. And then you see Slamovich, who's angry, shove off Killer Killing, my baby, my girl, my woman, that gorgeous, where's she from? I forgot where she's from. But I'll probably remember while I'm talking. But she shoves her away. And I'm going like, Portugal. There you go. Sorry. You see? And I'm going like, does that mean it's over between MK Ultra? Now, we did hear months upon months ago that there was some type of issue legitimately between the two women. Not that they hated each other. There was something going on that we didn't know about. Could this be the end of MK Ultra because of whatever was going on before? I don't know. I haven't checked, and I'm still not going to check. You guys tell me below. The match that I'm glad that happened, it was good for what you could watch of it, because it was so camera work. I will tell you that you can watch it. It was just watchable. They were still doing a lot of zoom-ins. Every time there was hits, you got this, which is dumb. And that's Hammer Fist versus Josh Alexander match 2. Josh literally gave, I think, about almost 10 or 12 German suplexes. And I'm like, damn. Trying to be a little bit of Brock Lesnar. Because Brock isn't going to be allowed to wrestle for WWE anymore. You're doing it on... So, just in case he shows up over at TNA, that he's going to do something. Huh? Because remember, guys, Brock is still, quote-unquote, kind of implicated, even though it wasn't mentioned in the documentation when it's talking about Mr. Vince McMahon in trouble with his his civil court case. So WWE is not bringing him back. Not right now. It's too hot. So you wonder, is he going to go somewhere else? AEW may take him, or even TNA may take him. I'm not saying that's a wise thing to do. I want to make this clear. Making this clear. What Josh did was like a bite off of a Brock Lesnar. Now, if Brock ever went to another promotion, they're going to have to take the heat of whatever is going to happen with the court case. Don't know if they want to do that. You may never see him in AEW or TNA. And I know people say, you actually think he's going to go to TNA. If he wants to work still as a wrestler, yes. If he wants to still work in AEW, which may not ever give him the same money as WWE, because I know Okada's got like $13 million for the next 3 or 4 years he's getting. He may never get that type of money, more than Okada. But the point is, you never know. If he still loves wrestling and he wants to wrestle, he's going to have to go to a lower promotion, because WWE is not bringing him back until that case is settled and everything is known. In the end, I'll give it to you like this. Seeing Hammerstone nutshot a Josh Alexander kind of is a little... I'm not really fond of it. But I didn't expect Hammerstone to stay a face for long. But I didn't expect him to heal this quickly. I was kind of hoping, this is me, I was hoping Hammerstone would have his first match on Sacrifice against somebody, and then from there they can build going into a second match with Josh. But they decided to do it now. And the only way to protect Josh is to let Hammerstone turn heel, nail him in the nuts, and then basically destroy him that way. Don't agree with it, but that's what we got. Moving on. The Time Machine versus Ali and Grizzled Young Vets. This is where the camera work went bad, because it was very sloppy. You couldn't see a lot what was going on. There was a lot of zoom-ins. We could not see all that was going on in the ring. And it was quite frustrating. Not because I take images of stuff, and I'm sure people would say, you're only doing this because of the images you take. I give you an example of what's going on. Whether I like it or not. That's my job as a wrestling reviewer. But I'm still a wrestling fan. I want to see when someone is running at someone like Kushida was running at Drake to take his head off. I would like to see that, not Kushida's the back of his head. I like to see the entire run from Kushida. And that's what I want. But how am I going to do that if they're zoomed in so close to his head, then he turns and then runs, and you can't even watch him, because this is the hard cam they're doing it with. They're doing it like this, looking at his face because they want to be so fucking dramatic. He runs, and they don't zoom back fast enough, and you can't see the run. This is one of the reasons why they, in Real Wrestling 101, if you understand true pro wrestling when it comes to television, always... when they're not moving, zoom in. When they're moving, zoom back and let everything be seen, because when you do that, you can't see anything. And if anyone down below says, dude, I watched it, it was fun, I'm going to say, really? Really? Show me an image where? Tell me where. They're going to show highlights. Show me where. Give me the minutes. Give me the seconds where it was clear enough that you could see it all the time, more than a second or two, because the majority of that match was not all completely seeable. They had to keep switching from one camera to another camera to another camera, where it was very sloppy. The switching was sloppy, guys. There are very rare times it was good, but still, in the end, it came down to Ali winning, and it was Alex Shelley who ate the pin. And they were showing some dissension in there. But in the end, Ali won. Grizzled Young Veterans were by his side. The helping hands tried to help. And when it came to Chris Sabin, there's going to be a reason why Alex is going to turn. Because Chris Sabin was so focused on Ali, he didn't care. And then Kushida was trying his best to try and make up, even though he didn't feel like he needed to make up, for saving Alex Shelley, who was his friend for 10 years. That is what the story is between these three. And eventually there's going to be a breakup of Time Machine. It's going to happen. Question is Alex Shelley going to do something interesting, maybe joining the system? Now, let's go to the last two matches. We got the knockouts match of Jordynne Grace, Tasha Steelz, and, well, Brookside, along with the announcement and the walk down of Ash of Elegance with the Iceman. Now, I'm sure no one likes Ash of Elegance, as I told you. And I'm going to keep saying this. It's still too soon to just say she's shit. I'm not a big fan of her. She may be a sexy-ass woman with a great pair of boobs. But I am looking at her fairly and objectively. As a character, someone who is so full of herself that she wants to show that she's elegant, that she's above every woman that's there, and she has the ability to back it up in the ring, she's doing the persona correctly. She comes down to the ring wearing a shimmery dress where it looks like she's not wearing a bra. She's showing a lot of boobie, and those boobs are pretty perky, so it looks good. She sits down. She's with the fans. She's drinking possibly wine. Well, I don't think she's drinking actual wine. She's probably drinking maybe sparkling water or, they have those non-alcoholic drinks that's sparkling. She might not be drinking, or maybe she is. You never know. But you see Iceman pouring it while the match is going on, and they're literally right up near the ramp. Now, was this a rough match? Yes, it was. At one point, Tasha's mouth started to bleed. You had a lot of very interesting work there when you could see it, because there was also the situation of the camera being zoomed in too much. At one point, when you want to see Tasha's... No, it wasn't Tasha. It was Jordynne Grace, who wanted to do a run from one ring post to the other. I believe it was on Brickstone. We couldn't see the run, because the only thing the cameraman did was focus on Brickstone, Brookstone, and pretty much she ran to one corner, and they didn't switch to the hard cam like when you're seeing with me. They didn't even switch. They didn't bother to switch. They just stayed with the camera with Brookstone, and just ran at her. And you can't tell me they couldn't show it, because yes, they could. Yes, they could. They chose not to. It was sloppy. But nearing the end, you see that Brookstone shoves a Tasha Steelz at a Ash of Elegance who's sitting in her chair. She spills her liqueur, and she gets all angry and says, "Look at me! You're ruining my clothes!" This is what we got. She ran away. The Iceman fell in his ass because he was wet from the liqueur. And he's living like, "Oh, my hip, I can't do what I want. My baby, I can't do what I want. Hurry up, I'm sorry, I can't." Kind of like that. In the end, Jordynne Grace won, which I'm not surprised. There's no way that Xia Brookstone is ready. And Tasha, she's not really the big focus right now. Look, I love me a Tasha. Tasha Steelz is a good wrestler, great character. She can talk on the mic. But what have they done with her since she came back? Not much. I just don't know what they're going to do with her. I just don't. But in the end, we got what we got. Now, final match. Moose versus Eric Young for the championship. Moose came out in kind of like almost a toga type of style thing. Like a sash that's near his crotch that goes down to his ankles. Interesting. You got the system with the new titles by their side. He goes out, and then they have the match. Now, since it's generally the first time these two have ever touched in TNA, not that they haven't done tag matches or anything, it's the first time they ever did a match together. It wasn't bad. Honestly, I liked it. It wasn't a bad match. I wouldn't mind seeing them go again. But in the end, you know who was going to win. It was going to be Moose, and he did have help. It was Kaz at one point comes out once once he was almost dead. Pretty much, Moose was basically laid out. You got the system coming out. Suicide dive out the window. In other words, the ring ropes. He just goes out the window. He splats them. But as he gets up, someone comes up behind him with some cable, starts choking him out, and Frankie Kazarian shows his face. He gets back into the ring, gets nailed, the match is over. So, what did we get? I'm making it clear. We got the system who now holds the tag titles and now the world title. They need one more person to go after the X Division title. Just one more. But unfortunately, that's with Ali, and I don't think he'll be joining the system anytime soon. He's by himself. He's doing well. He won his match with the Grizzled Young Veterans with the Helping Hands by his side. So I do not expect him to be with them. So we got a good show that's mostly unwatchable. Mostly unwatchable. Bad, whatever it was, bad signal problems and bad camera work. Audio was not that good. When Moose's music started to play, it sounded tinny. Tinny. For most others, even Jordan Grace's music sounded tinny to a certain extent. Brookstone and Tasha Steele's music. Some of it went like it was clipping and then it just sounded tinny. It just sounded bad. What am I going to tell you? I'm telling you the truth. I liked what I could see. I want to make this clear. What I could see, I liked. Do I agree with all of the decisions made and who won and who didn't? No. But it wasn't a bad show. Easily, it could be a B show. B show is not bad. But with either bad signal problems, if it didn't come from them, which it seemed like it did, and then the camera work, which ruined what was left that they could see, you got a C- show. And it's not the wrestler's fault. I want to make this clear. Listen to my words before you write down below. This is not about the wrestlers and their quality of their match. This is production. Production was shit. I say because of the production, it brings the quality of the matches down because they couldn't be watched correctly. C-. Not because I hate them. The matches that I could see, I liked. But when you can't watch it because they decided they want to be like WWE and do this, you ruin it. And I overexposed my camera. Peace.